Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to Bob's Magic Emporium. Next video on the 365-day magic challenge is the teacher trick weekend. So I'm going to teach you how to do another easy trick you can do. This is a great one to pull out at a restaurant. I love this one. This is the edible butter knife. And you take this knife and we're going to actually eat it. So here's the trick, and I'm going to teach you how it's done at the end. So I have my butter knife here. Now, I'm going to attempt some stuff that you might have seen people do on TV thousands of times. Sword swallowing. But instead of swallowing a razor-sharp sword, which is very dangerous, I'm going to do something even more dangerous and stupid, a butter knife. Yes, a butter knife. So, I'm going to show you it's a real, honest, truly to goodness butter knife. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attempt to eat this razor-sharp butter knife. Here we go. Oh. Ah, that's good. And that's the edible butter knife. Alright, this is a really fun trick to do at a restaurant. When people are watching you do this, you get just weird looks and stares. If somebody at the other table, like across from you or next to you, is watching you eat this butter knife, they're going to think you're the weirdest person on the face of the earth. This is actually supposed to be done seated, so it's supposed to be sitting down. I'm going to teach you how to do it sitting down. I did it standing, but I'm going to explain. So the first thing you need is an ordinary butter knife, and that is it. You could use a steak knife if you wanted, and you could probably use a spoon or a fork. But I'm going to explain how to use the knife, and I've never tried it with a spoon. I'm sure a fork would work the same way. So you probably could use a fork. No, actually, you probably couldn't because, well, try it with a fork, try it with a spoon, see what you think. But the knife's the best one to use. A butter knife's the best. Steak knife you could use as well. So, you first talk about how the knife is real, and you can pass that out for examination. You can tap it on the table to prove that it's real. Or if you're using it throughout the meal, you could use it, but I wouldn't recommend using it and then doing the trick. You'll see why when you have to actually do this part of the trick here in a moment. But what you're going to do to make it to eat it is you're going to put it in this position. Your hands are going to be like this. And I like to have my thumbs pointing up when I do it. But all you're doing from the exposed angle, I don't know if I can get this on camera or not, is you're just holding the knife like this. So I'm going to go over here so I can get this on camera here. You're holding the knife just like that. And when you show it from the front, it looks like you're holding that knife. Okay, it's very hard to detect. It's very hard to detect. You might be able to detect a little bit of the knife, but don't worry if when you practice this, I would practice in front of a mirror first to make sure you get the hand positioning down just right. But if you keep practicing it and find out that a little bit of the knife is showing, it's not going to matter. I've done this plenty of times, and I've never had somebody say, "Hey, the knife is not in your hand." You'll find out why in a minute. So you're going to place the knife just like this in your hands. Now, done seated, you're going to take your hands, pretend this is your table that you're sitting at the restaurant. I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see. What you're going to do is bring your hands all the way to the edge of the table. Make sure your hands are resting against that table. Don't have them up. Don't have them out. Have them resting right against the edge of the table. And all you do is drop that knife into your lap. That's all you're going to do. But you want to make sure that you keep your hands in the same position. So you're going to drop them and keep your hands just like this in the exact same position. Don't open them. Don't do anything. As soon as you drop that knife, you're going to keep your hands in this position. So it looks like nothing weird's happened. And this is what it looks like if you're doing it at the edge of the table. So it just looks exactly like this. I've just dropped that knife, and it's so hard to detect I've dropped it. So let me show you again, and I'll give you the exact moment at when I dropped the knife. Right there. I just dropped it, and it's very hard to detect. It still looks like I've got a knife resting in between my hands. So it's hard to detect. Now, again, I said you could do this standing up, but it makes a noise when you drop it. You may be able to hear it. You may be able to hear that a little bit. So if you're doing this standing up, it's going to make a noise when it drops. So that's why I say do it sitting down. And if you're doing this at a restaurant, you're going to be sitting anyways. There's no restaurants that make you stand while you eat. So you're sitting down, and it's at the edge of the table, and it just falls right into your lap. Simple as that. So it falls. Let me get that right there. So it falls, and then you keep your hands the exact same way, and this is just acting from here on out. From here on out, you got to be the best actor you can. You're going to pretend like you got that knife, just like this. Turn your hands straight up like this. Don't turn them to the sides. Keep them straight to your audience. So if your audience is where my camera is, you're going to just drop it, keep it straight like this so your audience thinks you still have that knife, and down like that. Simple as that. So all you're doing is you're just putting first the bottom of your palm right here against your mouth, pushing the palm down, and then these fingers go in your mouth. So they go like that. But don't tilt your head. Put your head all the way back like you're doing it this way and go like that. Like you just put the knife in your mouth and you're swallowing it. Then what you could do is you could say, okay, now I'm going to make the knife vanish, boom, and get it to come back if you want. You don't have to do that. Or you could have a napkin sitting on the table, have a napkin that's blank. I don't think I have any, dang. But anyways, you could have a napkin sitting here, have the knife on the underside, and you could roll the knife up. And then you could say, that was a good knife, but I need my knife back for the rest of the meal. Unroll the napkin, and then they see the knife in the napkin. You could do that as well. You don't have to do that, though. You can just make it vanish, and then casually, later on throughout the night, you bring the knife, put it back up. Another thing is, well, I said you could use a knife and use it throughout the meal to prove it is a real knife and say, I've been using this knife throughout the entire meal. The only thing, if you do that, though, your knife's going to become dirty from your food, and if you spread butter on your bread or whatever, it's going to become dirty. And when you drop the knife into your lap, you got to take that into account. But you could use the knife throughout the meal, so that people can say, oh, I've been using that knife, so they don't think it's a trick, magic, fake knife or something like that. Which they could think that, but if you use it throughout the meal, they're going to say, oh, it's not trick. So that is a team trick for today. It's eating a knife. It's really, really cool. It's like sword swallowing with a knife. It's super cool. Freaks people out at the dinner table. So definitely go out and try that and post your success stories on how this trick worked if you actually tried it in real life. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for the next Magic Challenge video.